So today we're gonna make object number 4 in the random object series. So in this one we're going to make these wobbly balloon grass type of things as you see here. And if you want a little sneak peek on what tutorials are about to come out, then please go and follow me on Instagram because I post there whenever I upload a new object. So without further ado, let's just jump into the tutorial and I'll show you how to make this balloon type of grass. Okay, so here in Cinema, I'm first of all gonna start by creating the geometry we're gonna use for this wobbly balloon grass. So I'm gonna go over here and I'm gonna make a cylinder. And this cylinder, I'm just gonna pull up a bit. Then I'm gonna set the radius to 25. And for now, I'll just set the height to 300. So we get a nice but thick cylinder. Then I'm just gonna go up here to display, and I'm gonna display it in hidden lines so we can see all of our lines. Then I'm just gonna go to the height segments and set it to 8. And I can see maybe we need to set it to 10. I think that should be fine. So now I wanna round the corners, and I also wanna create a subdivision up here. So I'm gonna go to my cap. I'm first of all gonna make the subdivision just by increasing the segments. Then I'm gonna do a fillet, and I'm gonna increase the fillet to 5 centimeters. And then I'm gonna take this down to, let's say, 1 segment. So we have a nice low poly version. And it's actually important that you have a low poly version, because let's say you have 100 of these in your scene, it's really gonna be heavy on your GPU. So now that we have this cylinder, we're gonna go to the cylinder and we're gonna click on it and we're gonna press C to make it editable. Then the fun starts. So let me just go to display and quick shading again. So to do the technique, we first of all need to go over to our cylinder and we need to go down to simulation tags and we need to go to the balloon tag over here. And if we just play that, we can see it just drops to the ground. So we need to fasten the points in the bottom, and we'll do that by going to our points view. And then I'm gonna go into our front view and I'm just gonna select the bottom points here. Then we can go back to our perspective view and we'll go over to our balloon tag and we'll go to the dresser tab. And in our dresser tab, we have this fix points and we can just press set. And now you can see all of the points turned pink. So that is what we want. So let's just play it now. Let's go to our model tab here. And as you can see, it's actually standing by itself. So now we're gonna go up to simulate, forces, turbulence. And this turbulence, we're just gonna turn up the strength and we're gonna turn up the scale just to see what happens. So as you can see here, if I increase the strength, we're gonna get more turbulence, and I can even increase the scale and you can see it's getting wild, but then it bends over and it just collapses. And we really don't want that. So the way we're gonna fix that is actually go up to the simulate tab again under forces and we're gonna use a wind. So this wind, just gonna pull it out here. You can see this little gizmo has a direction and we just gonna turn that so it faces upwards. All right, let's go into our wind and let's set it to 1000 in the wind speed. So as you can see, it doesn't collapse anymore. And I can even give it like 500 frames and you can see it just wiggles around in the wind. All right, that's looking pretty nice. So let me just go and pull down the scale again on my turbulence so we get a little bit less wiggle. Let me actually just pull it up again like this and I pull up the strength. Yeah, so I want these small ripples that really look nice. Okay, so what I want to do now is actually just go to the first frame and I'm just gonna hold down Control, and I'm just gonna drag it to another section. And I'm gonna do it a few times. Okay, so as you can see, it's really easy and procedural to make a lot of these that are going wild and having a blast at the dance club. So what if we want even more balloons going wild? Well, first of all, I'm just gonna delete all of my cylinders except our first one. And then I'm gonna go and create a cloner. And if I put it inside of my cloner and press play, you can see nothing is happening. Well, maybe let's try and pull the tag onto our cloner. Oh, that is definitely not what we want. Okay, so that wasn't as easy as I thought. What do we need to do to fix this problem where everything is just going in the middle? Well, let's go and delete our tag. And let's go and create another balloon tag on our cloner, because we need to have a fresh start with this tag. Okay, so if I just press play now, you can see we have all of these balloons and they are interacting with each other, but they're not staying in place as we want them to. How do we fix that? Well, let me just go and pull up my cloner here, and I'm actually gonna clone them onto a surface. So let me just quickly create that. So I'm just gonna create a plane here. I'm gonna make the plane a little bit bigger. And then I'm gonna go into my cloner under the object tab. And in the mode, I'm just gonna choose object. And I'm gonna pull in the plane. It's the object slot down here. Then we can go into our transform. And we can just turn them around so they're facing the right way. So let's just set it to 90 here, and let's pull them up on the Z direction. So they are just touching the surface. Like this, 150. Okay, so far so good. So now I'm gonna duplicate my plane. I'm gonna call it Collider. Then I'm gonna make it a little bit bigger than our first plane. Then I'm gonna pull it up so it intersects with the bottom of all of our balloons, kind of like this. So now I'm gonna right click, simulation tags, and we're gonna create a collider tag. And we're gonna go down to the collider side and we're gonna set it to both. Okay, so let's just press play and see what happens. So we're trapping all of the balloons with our collider because it's colliding on both sides of the plane. And I can see we need a little bit more geometry down here at the bottom so it hooks on a little bit better. A way to do that is actually go down here to our cylinder. We can go to the front view again, and then we can turn on our polygon mode. And with the rectangle selection tool, we can just select the bottom part here. We can press US, and that should fix it. So let's go back to our scene. Okay, so let's just see what happened. Okay, it seems like it didn't work. Let me just go into my lines display mode and let's see what happened. We did it at the top. So that's because it's actually reversed in our cloner. So let's quickly just fix that by going into our cloner and just setting this to -90 instead of +90. Like this. All right, that's a lot better. So let's see what happens now. And yeah, it's a lot better at staying in one place. So let's go back to our quick shading and let's address another problem. Our turbulence strength is too high. So let's go and set that to 50. Let's just see what happens here. And I can see that something weird happened over here where these three are intersecting with each other. So let's just go back to the start and let's see. That doesn't look very good. So let's address that quickly. So let's go to our cloner. Let's go down here and let's select a pusher part. And as the name says, it pushes things apart. So let's go down here in the push apart to the radius, and let's play around with the radius. So we're just gonna push it apart enough so they don't intersect with each other. So just like this. Okay, so let me just go and play it again. And as you can see, it looks so much better and things are really starting to look nice. So one other thing I want to do is actually go into my cloner, and I'm just going to pull up the count. So let's say 50. And it's probably going to be a little bit tough on my machine, but there we go. It's looking nice. And we can even make the turbulence a little bit smaller and a little bit higher in the strength. And let's just see what happened. They're more balloon-like now. So one other thing I want to address is if you go into the cloner, you can see that I have it at the instance mode. I know that the render instance and the multi-instance is so much faster, but we can't really use them in this instance. So if I press the render instance, we are gonna see that everything moves the same. So nothing is locked anymore, and everything is just a clone of the first cylinder. If I press multi-instance, it'll just do the same. So we need to have it to the instance mode for these to work. And that means it's calculating all of our geometry at each frame on our timeline. And that can get a bit heavy really fast. That is why it is really important to have this low poly version of our balloon. If we want to have a little bit fun, we can just go and create a sphere. I'll just pull it out here. And I'll just go and create a collider tag on it. And let's press play and let's just have some fun. So now you can see we can really use this for animating and doing some cool simulations. All right, so now I just animated this and I just turned up the count, and let's just see what happens if we play it. You can see it's a bit heavy now, but we're getting these nice interactions between the ball and all of these balloons. And if you find that they're intersecting with each other, you can actually just go into the balloon settings here and you can take the overpressure to 1.5 or 2, and it will just fix all of your problems. They will get a little bit more thick, but you can just go and play with this number until you get something that's really nice looking. And when you want to render it for the final render, you can just go and put the cloner inside of a subdivision surface like this. And if I play it now, you can see that it's really slow, but it looks really awesome and you get some nice geometry, and you can see all of the nice textures and all of the smooth surfaces you get when you put the subdivision surface on it. So if you just want to enable this all the time, so you don't forget it when you render, you can just go and pull down the subdivisions in your viewport, and then it'll run a bit faster in your viewport. So that was a good and short one, but nevertheless a good technique that you can spread out on all your projects, and it's a really easy way that you can get some dynamics into your scenes. So if you want more in this random object series, then please go and subscribe, and I'll ensure that I'll make more of these videos for you guys. So it has been so nice working in cinema with you guys today, and I'll just wish you a very nice rest of your day, and I'll see you later.